Okay, at this time, we would like everybody to put a star on the map for where you're joining us from this evening. So find your spot on the globe and put a star there. So you'll see just beside the main room box with all the participants, there's a toolbar that points up, and there's a little bit of a star. So I'm joining from New York, and I'm going to click a star on New York. You can also type in the chat box where you're joining us from this evening. Okay, and I believe everybody should have permission to see that. There we go. So I'm joining from New York, New York. Looks like we have a couple East Coasters, Canada, Ecuador, and Boston, great. One from Vancouver, North Carolina. Excellent, great. Well, I will go ahead and pass it over to Will. I'm sure a few more stars will pop into the room as they join us, so we'll be sure to greet them as they do. And let's go ahead and get the session started.
Thank you, Jen. So yeah, there are a lot of sessions going concurrently. That's why we're recording them. And with the time differences, people joining from all over the world aren't always able to make the sessions. Lainey, it looks like you are going to get a private session, live session, so we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to the session. We're going to start so we can get through the presentation with the time constraints. And everyone who joins later will be welcome. We're still waiting on one presenter. So we have 5 students, 4 at the moment, who are going to share with us today. They're all alumni of the NSLI-Y program. And so I'll briefly introduce the program to give you some context of their experiences. Then we'll jump into the heart of the presentation. Students who have studied abroad on this program will introduce themselves and talk about the ways that they've documented their amazing experiences. And once they've introduced their work, they'll take you on a project tour and give you some highlights and just share some aspect of their creative work. Then we'll move to a question and answer session, and you can ask them anything you want. And finally, we'll introduce NSLI-Y Interactive, and what that is a new online collaborative project by iEARN USA that features the work of current and past NSLI scholars, and as well, there's some cool resources for teachers as well. So we will introduce that. So the NSLI program is designed to increase the ability of Americans, specifically young Americans, to communicate with foreign cultures and foster a lifelong interest in a foreign language. It's a State Department funded program, and it's administered by an organization called American Councils for International Education. It's also administered by other programs implemented, I should say, such as iEARN. 2015 will be the 7th year that American Councils has administered this program, and thousands of students, I think about 3,000 at this point, have participated since 2006. So the languages that students learn while on this program are Arabic, Chinese, Hindi, Korean, Persian, Russian, and Turkish. This is a competitive program. It's merit-based scholarship. And the really cool thing about this program is that everything is covered. Students, while they're in country, may have to use some of their own money to buy knickknacks and stuff. And you know, to get the passport application, the initial passport application, they might have to pay for that. But otherwise, it is all on the State Department. It's a very rigorous program and very competitive. Some aspects of this program are intensive language study. Students are focused completely on language, whereas some other exchange programs have a more cultural focus, which the NSLI program does have. Students in the NSLI program spend 2 to 4 hours a day studying language and then have homework at night. They stay at homes, their local host families, and so there's a lot of, it's complete immersion, which is a very intense and rigorous program, and that experience demands a lot of commitment. So here are our 5 presenters. We have 5 bloggers, 4 from our summer Arabic programs, 1 from 2013, bottom left corner, our summer Arabic program in Rabat, Morocco. She hopefully will be joining us soon. And 3 from 2014. So Anli, the bottom right, was also in Rabat, Morocco. Shunhee, who's on the top, hanging out on the top right of the screen, and Shaheen, who is top left, were also Morocco Summer Program alumni. These are, well, both. They are high school students, and some of them, the range is 15 to 18 at time of application. So some students are still in high school, and some are taking a gap year before university. Yeah, thank you for your question. And feel free to ask questions as we go. The last presenter, standing with the tripod in the middle of the screen, is Kristen Albertson. And she was in Korea for the summer 2013 program. So now I will actually hand it over to Kristen, and she will introduce the work that she did over that summer. Hi, Kristen, can you hear me? Okay, just a few moments while we get the microphone set up.
Hi, my name is Kristen Albertson. Yeah, my connection dropped for a bit. Okay, so I went to South Korea in summer of 2013, and I stayed with a host family there. And basically what my social media project was basically to document my experiences there daily, and to show my family and friends back home what exactly was going on while I was there. So basically every day I would take pictures whenever I felt like it was a moment that I was really experiencing a culture, and I felt like, oh, this is something I want to show my family. And I didn't really realize that I would get a lot of audience or whatever for the project until people started following me, and I guess it's because they found me via the Tumblr tags. So you see on this this slide is kind of like the archive of my blog, and it would take about 2 to 3 minutes every day to upload each post, and I really didn't spend a lot of time on it because I didn't really have the time to do it, or very intensely because I had a lot of work to do while I was there. So you can go to the next slide. So you see, it was really just me showing my family what I was doing, and I wasn't expecting such a huge audience. And my dad was the one that I was really talking to when I made each blog post. So I would say something like, today I had some really good food at this restaurant, or today I experienced traditional Korean calligraphy or something like that. And I guess as the blog posts went on, my focus turned from just showing my family what I was doing in Korea to kind of documenting my experience so that I could look back on it later and also keeping in mind the new audience that I had generated via the tags through which people had found my blog on Tumblr. And so you can go to the next slide. So now, basically, I have 82 followers on that Tumblr blog and hundreds of posts. Well, not over 100 posts, but I've had many, many questions that mostly have to do with like the application process. So you'll notice that every November my follower count increases as the application for NSLI-Y is due in that month. And I think that the focus of my blog has kind of transitioned from showing my own experience to showing ways that other people might be able to also experience the program, and giving advice for people who aren't necessarily sure whether NSLI-Y is the best fit for them. So I think basically what I've accomplished via this blog is not just sharing my experience with my family, but also showing people kind of the way that this program allows you to experience Korean culture and language, which isn't just this intensive language program, but shows you like the character of the city. And so at the end of the program, I had a project sort of with the whole program where we had to create a cultural presentation. And my part of the cultural presentation was actually a video, which is why I have the tripod. And basically, I decided, like, our program focused on different areas of Seoul to show, like, the culture of, because even within Seoul, there are many different places you can go to see different sides of Korean culture. So, I guess, do we have the video that I could show people?
Yeah, so we'll link to that in a session, further in the session, and we'll just showcase people's projects. But thank you for the introduction to your project. We'll come back to it, and looking forward to seeing that video. And by the way, everyone, Kristen is getting over the flu, so she's been very kind to share with us tonight, and we really appreciate it. Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you, Will.
Sure. Next, we will have Shunhee Wang, and he's going to co-present with Shaheen on their experience, briefly what they did, and then again, like Kristen, we will come back at a later part in the presentation and have a closer look at their work.
Okay, I guess I'll start off. So I'm Shunhee Wang, and I'm from Michigan. And I, like Ami and Shaheen, was on the 2014 Arabic summer program in Morocco. And so what Shaheen and I did is we created a video describing certain aspects of Ramadan during our stay in Morocco for our final project. And so we decided to do it near the end, about the 5th or 6th week. And we created a video designed to inform people who would not know much about Ramadan, like uninformed Americans. And I don't have the exact statistics on who we reached, but our video is shared on our resident director, Joe Spanger's blog. And what we filmed with, it was just a Canon digital camera, which is what I brought to take pictures, and it had a video recording function too, and we could have used like smartphones or something as well. And we edited and spliced together the video clips with iMovie using Ami's Mac. And that was pretty simple. And so overall, producing the script, filming, and editing took most of a day, and we conceptualized in the morning, filmed throughout the day, and edited in the afternoon, basically. So Shaheen, if you have anything else to add.
Yeah, just to add on to what Shunhee was saying, obviously an important part of our experience was Ramadan, as we experienced in Morocco, because we were actually there for the entire month, and so I guess it was really, really amazing just to see how different it was from life in America, or even Ramadan in America, which I had also experienced being a Muslim. So I guess in this project we also tried to capture some of the schedule changes or social and cultural subtleties that we had experienced, and we had even sometimes been part of. And so we tried to capture a lot of what we learned and what we internalized in this final project.
I guess we can go to the next slide. Yeah. So these are just pictures of expeditions we went on. So the one on the bottom is the Sahara expedition, and then the top left picture is one of the first meals we had when we went there, a traditional tagine, and then a picture of a water bottle. Shane, do you want this slide?
Sure, yeah. And so I guess a bunch of these photos are group photos of our I think the top left one is in Chefchaouen, which is kind of like the blue and white city, and then the top right one is in the Rabat Zoo. And then in the bottom right, that's actually me with one of the master storytellers in Marrakesh. And then in the bottom left one, it's a restaurant called Coq Magic, which we visited in Rabat.
Thank you. I just got an email from Anjali, sorry for breaking in here, and she's having trouble joining Blackboard. So I have her going next, but I think I'll skip her for now. And we will go to, we will circle back exactly, and we will go to Anli. And then, Anli, just let me know when you would like me to change the slides. I'm going to give Anjali directions on how to join in the meantime.
Okay. Can everyone hear me? Okay. So, hi everyone. I'm a senior at the North Carolina School of Science and Mathematics. I went to Rabat, Morocco in summer 2014, and I studied Modern Standard Arabic in Kuala Lumpur Center of Arabic Studies. Right now, coming back home, I am self-studying French and Arabic during my free time. Will, can you go to the next slide? So I decided to make a blog the moment that I found out I was a finalist, because I love writing and photography, and I wanted to show my family and friends my adventure in Morocco. So I decided to make a blog because I think because blog posts allows me to show my friends' image and my thoughts at the same time. And this is a snapshot of my blog. And yeah. So I use Tumblr blog because it's very easy to use, and it allows me to organize the outlook of my blog. And I changed the outlook of my blog several times because it has so many different creative ways that you can design your Tumblr blog. And for pictures, I used Nikon D3100 camera, and yeah, I took so many pictures. And can you go to the next slide? So this is actually my first blog post. We went to New York City for pre-orientation, and we lived on Columbia University campus for, I think, 2 or 3 days. And the picture in the middle is one of the NSLI alumni, Mia, and she was wearing an outlook that I designed by using iEARN NSLI brochures. So yeah. So it has a picture of us on Columbia campus, and the picture on bottom right was more talking to her mom before we flew to Casablanca. And can you go to the next slide? So I spent a fair amount of time on my blog. However, I didn't write every day because while abroad we had so much to do, like study Arabic, spend time with host families and friends, explore the city, meet locals, and talk to them. So writing a blog every day doesn't seem possible. So what I did was I jot down notes every day, every night before I went to sleep. I wrote down a list of things I did on that day with a date. So then I at least wrote one article per week to reflect my thoughts. Then when I came back from Morocco, I spent about 2 or 3 days to read over my notes and edit them to articles. So when I was in Morocco, I uploaded my photos to my Mac iPhoto every week, so I won't have to upload thousands of pictures at one time. And then I made albums based on places, events, and dates, as you can see on the bottom right picture. So I have about 20 different albums. For example, the number one was the first day of school. We had robot tour, and we had Casablanca and volunteer service. Yeah. And next slide. So the picture on the left, we were at Marrakesh at Café Clock, and we took a picture after hearing storytelling by a Moroccan storyteller. We had so many things to do in Morocco, so like some people might say writing a blog may be a distraction of experiencing your experiencing the life. But I think when you have the choices between going out with your friends and writing blog in your room, just go out, because it's very important to spend majority of your time living the moment and enjoy yourself while abroad. But later you should remind yourself to write about your experiences, so those happy moments don't just go away. And first week in Rabat went by so fast because we had so many things to do. I blogged about the events and wrote down thoughts I had. Now when I look back, I realized my first week was the busiest and most exciting week of all. And at the same time, writing blog makes me feel very accomplished and productive. And so every time when I wrote a new blog post, I post my blog URL on my Facebook so my friends can see it, and they're more likely to read it because people won't have time to check your blog every day. And they send me messages and they ask me about the program. They are fascinated about my Sahara trip and the thoughts I have grown in while I was in Morocco. Yeah. Next slide. Hello?
Hi, Anli. So the rest of your slides will be in the project tour. So what we're going to do now, thank you, by the way. What we're going to do now is we're going to hop back to Anjali, and she'll just introduce the video blogging that she did, and then we will go directly to the project tour. Anjali, can you hear us?
Hello?
Hi, Anjali.
Hi,
Yep.
Okay, sorry about being very late. Okay, my name is Anjali Khatri. I am from Texas. I go to the University of Texas at Austin, and I'm a freshman there. I did the NSLI program 2 years ago, and I went to Morocco to learn Arabic. So
Yeah, I decided to make a video blog on YouTube, and this was something that I decided to do after my family members asked me, like, or when I told my family members that I was going on this trip, they kept telling me, oh, take lots of pictures, and I want to hear all about it. And it struck me that it was probably improbable that they'd actually want to hear all about it and hear me like going on and on about all of these cool experiences I had, because they would have been stuck in San Antonio. And I decided that video was a much more dynamic and interactive media to communicate my experience with others. So it was really fun to like juxtapose a bunch of clips of my travels in Morocco with like some really epic music. I was really attracted to the idea of having my own YouTube channel, and I actually psyched myself by looking at a bunch of other travel channels on YouTube. Not that I have any cinematography skill at all. I just really enjoyed taking video clips and just putting them together. I used iMovie. It was really simple, and yeah, I suppose that's an introduction to my video blog.
Thank you, Anjali. Just before we go to the project viewings, there's a picture that Anjali sent me that didn't make it into that, and I want to show it because it's my favorite. There you go. There's a chameleon. I don't know where you are.
That was in that was in Marrakesh. We went to the souk and there was a chameleon. So they just had some chameleons and they're like, do you want to hold the chameleon? And I said, sure. You know, why not?
That's the right answer. Okay, thank you, Anjali. Okay, so time for the project tour. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to start with a video called That Ramadan Life. So just one moment while we load the video. All right. Can everyone see the video still? You can write yes in the box if you can. Excellent, Kristen. Good. Okay, I'm going to start it. If any of you have problems seeing it, let me know.
You don't get it. This is like, oh. Okay, so I really want to cut to it. How I see the gratitude that giving me
Okay, so just a quick note, you have to click on the arrow in the browser.
Sorry, Jim, what was that? Could everyone see the video?
You only just go always complete the box. Because we have to show you on the light. Here's these boxes. I'm going to show you one line. We'll keep the double action. And you have a text right now, looking card. And I didn't realize you were going to be here. I could have gone home, but I had the card for the new stuff. Yeah. So it was just this card.
Okay, I think we're all just about done seeing the video. So now I want to turn it back over to Shaheen and Shunhee to let us know what we just saw, because a lot of it was in Arabic. Guys?
Okay, so yeah, I guess I'll go ahead. So I guess that was kind of an expression of what the different aspects of that Ramadan life, I guess, that we had experienced in Morocco, and that we felt were unique and we felt compelled to share in our final project, which we did kind of as part of the NSLI program. And this was, as Shunhee mentioned earlier, this was toward the end of the program. And so I guess some of the things that drew me specifically to certain aspects of this video was that I was Muslim, so I'm Muslim, and so I had been fasting in America and still do during Ramadan, and so fasting in Morocco was a completely different experience for me, just because everyone else was doing it as well, and the sort of schedule and the way people behave changed as a result of the month and people's participation in fasting and in iftar. So I guess we tried to set up the skits in a way that set up a situation that could very easily take place between one of us that were visiting and perhaps a local, which I often represented in the skits, and And then Felix was the one who was giving a lot of the explanations, which we thought would kind of explain to people who didn't speak Arabic or didn't completely understand the skit or didn't know what Ramadan was, exactly what we were doing. So in the first skit, I guess it explains where I'm the one who's fasting and Shunhee's the one who's offering me bread. And so that's kind of referring to how you're not supposed to, like talk about eating or show food in front of someone who's fasting or offer them food, because that's, I guess it's not very nice because people don't generally want to see food when they're fasting or get offered food and have to deny it. And then I guess in the second skit, what we're showing is the schedule changes that take place. And so as Felix mentions in the video, people tend to stay up later. Like at one point, I went home to my host family, ate dinner with them, and then was about to go to sleep, and my host dad asked me, aren't you going to eat dinner with us? And I was like, well, I thought that was dinner, and apparently they were having 2 large meals in the evening, and we're staying up pretty late to do that. So that's just one simple example of how that can lead to schedule changes and kind of affect school life as well, which was an interesting experience to have, but I thought it was worth documenting in the video, and that's what we did. And then I guess in the final skit, what we show is where the breaking of the fast, or at the time when the end of the fast at the end of the day is announced. And so the fast is often opened with dates and milk and stuff like that. And so we just tried to show how that's generally approached in Moroccan culture, as we observed it in our own host families. And then if Shunhee, if you want to add anything to that.
I guess I should say that I know that while we were making the video, it helped us, at least it helped me kind of to bond with the other students on the trip, but also with some of the locals, such as in the second skit, the lady who was speaking Arabic at us was our actual teacher, and she decided to help us, and that was a lot of fun. And so the first, I guess I should mention this, but the first part was actually based on someone on our trip who had accidentally done that, and that's where we got the idea for that one. And so we kind of pulled from real life experiences and also just possibilities and use that in our depiction of what Ramadan was like to us. And that's about it for me for now.
Thanks, guys. Okay, so next we're going to go to a video by Anjali. And the desert trip for the Morocco study abroad students is always very popular. I think it's the most dramatic trip because you end up on a camel for hours and hours. And so if you ever had the desire to ride a camel, well, this desire is fulfilled in the desert. I'm going to try to share the screen again, and you may have to click play if it doesn't start playing automatically for you. So just one moment while we do that. Okay, and it should start playing shortly. Okay, so I think that everyone has seen the video now. It's interesting that people are mentioning the soundtrack. I always love the music that Anjali chose for her videos. She has many other, and you should check out her YouTube channel. Yeah, I guess before she starts to share with us about this video, I wonder why you chose that music instead of Moroccan music. Was it kind of to blend your tastes with your experience, keeping a little bit of your kind of Americanness, if you will, and just kind of showing how the experience was a mix of your experience as a student and Morocco meeting?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so that's a really good question. All of the tracks that I chose them before I came to Morocco, mostly because I figured that they were pretty versatile and that they would go with, I mean, multiple situations and, like, I guess multiple clips of whatever travels I would be doing. But I guess this song in particular, or I mean, all the actually songs that I picked were mostly instrumental, and they had, I guess, a sort of, they were pretty, I guess, it was easy to get into the music, I guess, and it was all really appealing. So that's why I chose the music that I did. But now that you mention it, I guess I didn't think of choosing Moroccan music because, I mean, I kind of planned it out before I left, and that's true. Like, I kind of like was projecting my Americanness with Moroccanness, I think the music went really well with, I guess, the I guess adventurous nature of all the clips. But more about my YouTube channel. You saw the little caption at the end called The Traveling Lemon. So I chose that name before we came to Morocco because it's actually an inside joke that I have with my friends. But after, I realized that a traveling lemon was actually a really suitable name because a lemon is a pretty ordinary object or fruit or whatever, but like it stands out so much, and that's how I felt as a foreigner in Morocco. I mean, despite like trying to, you know, be ordinary, you automatically stand out. So that's why I chose the name Traveling Lemon. This video in particular is one of my favorites just because, I mean, like Will said, the Sahara was one of my favorite experiences, and riding the camels was a trip. I had like a lot of, I guess, group bonding happen during the Sahara trip, so that's probably also why it was one of my favorite trips. Yeah, and so like documenting this particular experience, I thought it was really beneficial because it allowed me to reflect and think about like my growth. So by looking at those short clips, I tie that to separate experiences. So all the short clips in the video, it makes me recall the time that we were in the bus and I was asking Emily, like, oh, where are we going? And like that whole bus ride, how it was 10 hours long, and all of these other experiences. So I think it's a good, videos in general are just a good way to document that. This video in particular actually got, I think, some of the most views on my channel besides the final project that we did as a group. That was also a really great experience to be able to edit our final project. We did a video about Alif Be and different aspects of Morocco represented with Alif Be. So like Alif is for Usra, which is like family, and we talked about our host families and etc. So that's, sorry, Alif Ba, for those of you that don't know, is like the Arabic alphabet. And yeah, it was, that was really great because I got a big role in editing that, and when it all came together, even though iMovie was being ridiculous, it was really rewarding. And all of these videos, for me, are really rewarding to look back and see something tangible that has come out of this experience, or at least seeing my experience, I guess, compiled into these short videos is really, really something. So.
Thank you, Anjali.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was great. Okay, so next we have Anli, and then last but not least, we'll have Kristen. I just want to make a note that our time is coming short, so I want to show all of this great media. The question and answer session might get shortchanged a little bit, and I was wondering if our participants, if they felt comfortable, could put their contact information into the chat box if people had questions to follow up with them. And if the participants don't want to do that, that's okay. So next we have Anli, who will also talk about the desert trip.
Hi everyone. So the Sahara Desert trip was one of my favorite excursions, and it was 12 hours ride to go to the town called Mazuka, and we spent 3 days in the Sahara Desert, and the entire trip just made me feel so privileged. And I have grown in my appreciation of my life and the world when I was in Sahara. So I decided to take many pictures, but also write down the thoughts I have grown in when I was in Sahara. Can you go to the next slide? So I wrote a short paragraph about the thoughts that I had when I was in Sahara, and I'm going to read out loud to you because for some reason that my text won't show up. So at 6 p.m., we were ready to go to Sahara. The first time experience of riding camel was very fun. I named my camel Watermelon. I grabbed the handle really tight because I was scared to fall off. Blue sky, shining sun, orange sand dunes, and 15 scholarship students. I heard the wind, I touched the sand, and I opened my arms. It's the time when humanity connects to the nature. I felt like I was living in a dream. I laid on the top of the sand dune and waited for the stars. The stars were so luring, I really couldn't write down that feeling because you have to experience it by yourself, and different people will have different experiences. We slept outside of the Berber tent and had a family talk under the Milky Way. The beauty of the sky was heartbreaking. I lifted my arm and tried to capture the brightest star. I couldn't fall asleep at all. I recalled my life in the past and okay, let's do that again. I recalled my life in the past and imagined my life in the future. The second day, we got up at 4 a.m. The world before the sunrise was so quiet, so tender, and so amusing. We rode the camel back to our hotel. I kept looking back because I wanted to keep the beauty of the Sahara in my heart forever. So that was a short paragraph that I wrote about my trip. And yeah, the Sahara trip is a life-changing excursion for me, and I loved it. Sometimes when I feel stressed, I close my eyes and imagine I was on that top of the sand dune, and it was very relaxing, and it was a wonderful experience. So this slide, so when I came back from Morocco, my school's newspaper editor interviewed me and wrote an article about my study abroad experience for the August issue. And later in September, I organized a presentation for the NSLI-Y program at my school. It's in North Carolina. I invited my local NSLI-Y alumni representative and 3 other alumni to talk about their experiences in Russia, China, and for students and educators in my community. So people ask me why I should use document their experiences, and I will say there are 2 big reasons: the self and the society. And for personally, it's a way to remember the experience later on. It's a place where I can refer back. For example, when I met Morocco, I look at my blog and look at those pictures. And it's also a way to prove my experience was useful and valuable, to show that I actually got out something from my experience. And I understand how easily people's memory can fade, so documenting experience allow me to remember those sweet moments. Also for the society, like for sharing, I think sharing happiness with everyone is a beautiful thing to do, and sharing your experience using social media encourage young generation to explore their potential abroad. So everyone will have different experience. This documentation can help future NSLI applicants to have a preview of what the experience will look like. Also that I think documentation proved that studying abroad is an incredible education opportunity to have in order to have a better understanding of the world for global leaders in the future.
Thank you, Romney.
Yeah, thank you.
No, that was wonderful. Your pictures are beautiful, and thanks for sharing some of those writings from your blog. Next, we have Kristen, and she will share a little more from her blog.
Okay. So you see the picture of my, basically they're called supporter groups, and the guy to the left of me is, his name is Songjin, and he is a university student at Dongguk University in Seoul, and he helped the 3 of us in a small group separate from the rest of our program, like go around to different cultural locations. And so basically I'll focus on how my experience has kind of opened up the NSLI-Y application process for others, and also allowed other people to kind of understand the complexities of like Korean culture, and especially like around Seoul, how it's not just like this one image that people see in travel brochures, but it's also just this complex society, just like, you know, any city in the U.S. or any other country would be. And so that was the focus of the video that I created for the end of program cultural presentation. Each of us had to choose a location around Seoul on the subway system. So we chose a stop on the subway system to represent through our video. And the one that we chose, my group of friends decided to do, probably we were one of the first people to choose our location, because we had formed a lot of relationships with people in the shops around this tourist location, Gwanghwamun Square in Seoul, which is kind of like the big cultural tourist location in Seoul. So we can go to the video that I made. Okay. Oh, wait. I'll wait until everybody's finished watching. Sorry. Okay, it seems like everyone's about done watching the video. So the soundtrack for that video, I saw somebody commented on it, was actually chosen from the soundtrack of like a Korean TV series, and so I thought that that was kind of fun. Yeah, Sally, hi, sorry. Sally's one of my friends from the program and was also in my supporter group. So basically what I was trying to capture with this video was that like even though you can go as a tourist and visit all of these locations, what's really important when you're exploring Seoul and really the rest of Korean culture is to foster relationships with like the people who live there. I think that's how I learned the most about Korean culture. The woman at the bubble tea shop that we went to, I think we went to that bubble tea shop at least like 3 or 4 times or 5 times in the 6 weeks that we were there. Okay, I have 1 minute to go. So basically, all I'm trying to say is that the most important thing that I got out of my experience was the relationships I formed with the people there behind the scenes and not just by visiting all the tourist locations. And I think that's what I was trying to show with my blog. And yeah, so I think, yeah, that's basically the most important thing. So thank you for listening to me, and I will go back to Will now.
Thank you, Kristen, and thanks to everyone. It was really great to see all of your work, and as a previous resident director of the Morocco program, it was just fun to see it again through your eyes. I am going to skip past the Q&A session. All of these students, I think, put their contact information up there, so if you have questions, you can contact them. I want to quickly introduce a new way to follow NSLI students' experiences and for past NSLI students to share. We launched this site yesterday, NSLI-Y Interactive. It's a hub for multimedia stories that showcase students' experiences. So, yep, if you want to follow along with more student experiences, this is the place to come. It's full of real-time multimedia updates. There are videos, photo journals, and a live Twitter feed. There's Anjali again. She's featured. You may see yourselves if you go to the site, alumni. And an important part of the site is connecting students, teachers, and classrooms through virtual events. So we just hosted our first event this morning. This morning, students discussed similarities and differences in everyday life in U.S. and Taiwan. This was a school of high school students in Norwalk, Connecticut, and NSLI students who are currently in Taiwan. So, if you want to go to that site, that's NSLI-Interactive.org, and if you have questions about the site, you can see it in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. That's NSLI Stories at us.iEARN.org. So very cool new stuff. Briefly, here are some links, information about the program, the link to the new interactive website where teachers can get resources for how to use NSLI students' experiences to bolster their education in their classrooms. And there's a State Department website. I would like to thank you all for joining. I'm sorry that we got rushed at the end. It was great having you. It was inspirational, and I'll definitely be looking over the pictures and the PowerPoint again. And yep. So all you have to do now is exit the Blackboard room, and you just do that by clicking out. Thank you so much for joining, and bye.
Thanks again to the great alumni for joining and sharing. We're going to be recording with everybody to check out later. So thank you. And thanks for participating in a conference.